of falsified drugs, unwholesome food products, and cosmetics were seized and incinerated nationwide by the agency between March and August this year. In KANO State, Governor Abdullahi GANDUJE has expressed regret over the recent BAGWAI boat mishap that led to the death of 36 persons. GANDUJE spoke through his chief press secretary, Abba Anwar, in a statement issued in KANO. Noting that rescue operations is underway, the governor described the incident as a state tragedy. He said the boat was ferrying about 50 people, mostly Islamiyah students, with some loads and capsized due to overloading. In the Borno State, Governor David Umahi has announced the immediate suspension of all civil servants from the conflict-torn Effium community in Ohauju local government over killings of 5 construction workers. Umahi made the announcement in Abakaliki during a security summit organized by the state branch of the Christian Association of Nigeria and founding fathers of the state. The governor alleged that the perpetrators were funded from both within and outside the state and vowed to approach the House of Assembly on the next line of action concerning the council chairman and 2 assembly members from the area. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Dami Manuel has joined his Abia State counterpart, Dr. Okezie Ikpeazu, to perform the foundation-laying ceremony of a multifaceted health and human development facility at Ikon Dueno Fort, Igbirin-Sukara, in Uyo local government area of Akwa Ibom State. At the event, Governor Emmanuel lauded the Board of Trustees Chairman, Pastor Basi Udo, for choosing to site the project in Akwa Ibom, expressing optimism that the project will, in the nearest future, change the face of the host community. Reaffirming support for the project, Governor Emmanuel said his government had awarded contract for the construction of the entire stretch of Igbirin-Sukara Road to complement the facility, and that work would commence as soon as the weather becomes favorable. On his part, Abia State Governor Okezie Ikpeazu described the initiative as a missionary work that would cater for health needs of many in the area, noting that the siting of the project in Uyo, besides indicating the selflessness of the foundation, would cement his friendship with Udom Emmanuel. Still in Akwa Ibom, a field epidemiologist, Dr. Nsisang Asanga, says tackling inequalities remain the sure way to becoming an AIDS-free nation by 2030. The epidemiologist stated this today while speaking on Rise and Shine show on SpectrumTelevision in an interaction to mark the World AIDS Day, which is commemorated on December 1 of every year. Asanga noted that this year's theme bothered on ending inequalities, AIDS, and pandemics. Asanga also identified one of the major challenges of fighting the spread of HIV as funding and appealed for more donors to join in the fight against the disease to ensure a world free from HIV and AIDS.
Over time, AIDS migrated from being a rich white man's disease to being a poor black woman's disease.
Oh my God.
And when you look at it that way, you can see that inequalities are one of the things that make this thing still to be with us today. However, we've had a lot of progress.
Okay.
The rate of new infections are at an all-time low.
Okay.
The rate of prevention of transmission from mothers to babies is also at an all-time low.
Okay.
But we're not yet where we want to be, because we want to be HIV free by 2030.
Yeah,
and 2030 is just 8 years away. And if we don't focus, if we don't get to these inequalities and tackle them head on, if we don't devote energy, money, resources, airtime, spectrum time this pandemic, then there's no way we're going to meet. We hope to achieve Vision 2030 by having all hands on deck. So that means all the governments, all the civil organizations, churches, religious bodies, everybody's hands on deck. Whatever is your part to do, do it. If it's your part to give money towards free condoms, give it. If it's your part to tell your children the truth about sex education, tell it. If it's your part to make sure that your facility is a facility people can gladly come in and access services, please do it. Whatever is, we all have a part. Even if your part is to tell your friend as she's going, baby, are you sure you have all you need to go out tonight? I'm telling you. Whatever is your part. So let's all take it like something we all have to fight.
That's true.
Yes. So that's the way we're going to get.
Meanwhile, youths in two bordering communities in the local government area of Akwa Ibom State have called on Akwa Ibom State government to undertake bridge construction, access road and drinkable water in the area. According to the villagers, the bridge in the area, which was collectively constructed by 3 villages, including Mbiabet, Ikorotok, Atongeben and Yegeria villages, was later demolished by a certain construction firm who promised reconstruction of the bridge. In an interaction with SpectrumTelevision, the people noted that aside the suffering of the people regarding the demolished bridge and lack of drinkable water, casualties have been recorded as people fell into the water as a result of the poor state of the place.
To report, 3 villages including Mbiabeti Korotok, Atongeben and Eyegedia contributed resources to put up a mini bridge to connect Eyegedia and Ikototok together for ease of access. Youths in the affected community say that a certain construction company came with the promise to reconstruct a better bridge but ended up demolishing their earlier constructed culvert, leaving the people in the area to suffer.
My name is Uyime Inokwan. I am the youth president of Mbiabeti Korotok. I want to plead with the state government that we are suffering from poor roads. I plead with Deacon Udum Emmanuel to come to our aid as we have suffered so much. I am Abraham Ekanem Jacob, the youth president of this village, Mbiabet Ikorotok. Please, lack of roads has contributed to why we do not have a borehole in our village. That's why we drink this type of water. It's not good for us to drink this kind of water. The more we drink this, the more it causes malaria on our people. We plead with the government of the Udum Emmanuel to give us access route, water, because we lack drinkable water in this village. I'm sure that if we have good roads, there will be water. Business can also move if we have access route. Please, we need roads, and we ask Governor Udum Emmanuel to do this for us.
They, however, attributed lack of drinkable water in the areas to the inaccessible state of their roads, calling on the government to come to their aid and construct the bridge, access road and water in the area. I am Riayanekan reporting for Spectrum Television.
In Africa, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has lashed out at African countries that have restricted travel to and from southern African states. Ramaphosa described the development as unfortunate, saying the nations should not have reacted like their former colonizers over the discovery of the new coronavirus variant OMICRON. Rwanda, the Seychelles, Mauritius, Egypt and Angola are some of the African countries that closed their borders soon after the discovery of the new variant. On the foreign scene, France has announced its decision to allow in flights from 10 southern African countries from Saturday, but with restrictions permitting only French and EU residents to disembark, along with diplomats and flight crews. Government spokesman Gabriel Attal said after a cabinet meeting that the travelers would be required to have a COVID test upon arrival with a negative result, still needing a 7-day quarantine, while a positive test will prompt a 10-day quarantine. France is one of several countries worldwide that halted flights from southern Africa in recent days after the more contagious Omicron strain of coronavirus was reported by South Africa. Still on the foreign scene, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen is calling on EU member states to consider mandatory vaccinations. Von der Leyen said such measures were required due to the emergence of the Omicron variant. She told reporters in Brussels that while it may be difficult to get everyone to be vaccinated, it would go a long way to get the vast majority to take the jabs. Meanwhile, the European Union has revealed details of a £300 billion global investment plan, which it describes as a true alternative to China's Belt and Road strategy. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said the global gateway scheme should become a trusted brand. China has reportedly funded railroads and ports, but has been accused of leaving some countries saddled with debt. The Commission chief said countries needed trusted partners to design sustainable projects. Meanwhile, international migration reportedly rose last year despite the impact of the COVID pandemic on migration patterns, including restrictions blocking many from crossing borders. The United Nations said Wednesday in a fresh report. The UN's International Organization for Migration said the number of international migrants grew to 281 million in 2020, or 3.6% of the global population. The organization, however, stressed that there would have been another 2 million international migrants last year had it not been for the pandemic, which made it more complicated to move across borders. Away from that, the United Nations has urged countries of the world to move fast in ending inequalities that drive the HIV/AIDS pandemic as the world marks the 2021 AIDS Day today. The UNAIDS Executive Director Winnie Byanyima in her speech said the world would also struggle to end the COVID-19 pandemic and would remain unprepared for the pandemics of the future if it does not come together to end the HIV/AIDS disease. They called on leaders to act boldly and in unity by bringing together cutting-edge science, delivering services that meet all people's needs, protecting human rights, and sustaining adequate financing and policies to ensure fair and affordable access to science.
Protect human rights and build trust in health systems and all public systems. It is these that will ensure that we close the inequality gaps and end AIDS. But they are too often applied unevenly, they are underfunded, and they are underappreciated. On this World AIDS Day, I salute the frontline communities who have pioneered the approaches shown to be most effective, who have driven the momentum for change, and who are pushing our leaders to be bold. I urge you, activists, communities, keep pushing. And world leaders, let us work together urgently to tackle these challenges head on. I urge you, be courageous in matching your words with deeds. There is not a choice to be made between ending the AIDS pandemic that is raging today and preparing for the pandemics of tomorrow. The only successful approach will achieve both. As of now, we are not on track at all to achieve either. If we take on the inequalities which hold back progress, we can deliver on the promise to end AIDS by 2030.
Elsewhere, the United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken has warned Russia to stand down on its efforts to destabilize Ukraine, warning that the US and NATO members were prepared to impose costs for further Russian aggression. Speaking at the end of a North Atlantic Treaty Alliance meeting in Latvia, Blinken said despite uncertainty about the intention and timing surrounding President Putin's decision to invade or not, the Russian leader was putting things in place to give him the capacity to do so on short order. Blinken noted that the world had already seen Russia increase the number of troops along Ukraine's border and deploy misinformation to suggest Ukraine as the aggressor in a bid to justify pre-planned military action. He adds that all contingencies should be prepared for while working to see to Russia's reversal of the course. And now it's time for the latest business and stock market stories. Here is Blyden Ukem.
It's another business day with a lot of business activities. Welcome to Business News. My name is Blyden Ukem. Top on the news, Canada adds Nigeria to travel ban list. Surprisingly, with increasing concern over Omicron variant of COVID-19, Canada has added Nigeria, Egypt, and Malawi to the travel ban list. This will affect international trades and exchanges between these countries. The Omicron variant has affected global stocks and oil prices, causing a sell-off in Tuesday's market. Stocks in Asia Pacific and Europe slid in value. Oil prices fell about 3% as many countries reported cases of the variant with new travel restrictions imposed. The warning from Moderna CEO Stephen Mankel that current vaccines will struggle with a new variant Omicron further dampened market confidence. Oil prices also slid on fears that the variant would hurt energy demand by limiting the number of people driving and flying. Brent crude, the global benchmark, and West Texas Intermediate, the U.S. benchmark fell more than 3% to trade below $71 and $68 a barrel, respectively. European consumers' prices are rising at the fastest rate since 1997. Annual inflation across the 19 European countries, including Europe's largest economies, Germany, France, Italy, and Spain, hit 4.9% high in November. The inflation increment is driven mainly by soaring energy prices, according to Eurostat, the European Union Statistics Office. This is the highest rate since 1997, when the European Union started collecting data in preparation for the launch of the euro, and a further surge from 4.1% in October. According to Eurostat's flash estimate, energy prices rose by 27.4% in November. Services inflation was 2.7%. The figures came a day after Europe's biggest economy, Germany, estimated consumer prices rose by 5.2% in November. German inflation broke above 4% for the first time in nearly 30 years in September. We know how it is in China. China's economy is receiving good news. Its big factories are recovering because of increase in coal supply. A government survey of manufacturing activities show an increase to 50.1 in November from 49.2 in October, according to data released by the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, on Tuesday. It was the first reading above 50, indicating expansion rather than contraction in 3 months. It was also the first time since March that the index increased over the prior month. Beijing on Tuesday attributed this improvement to recent policy measures that have strengthened energy supply and stabilized soaring costs. In November, power shortages eased and prices of some raw materials dropped significantly, said Zhang Ging, a senior statistician for NBS. Nigeria's Vice President Yemi Osibanjo has said that there is a need for the Nigerian Exchange Limited to wow financial technology fintech firms raising capital beyond the shores of the country to the nation's buzz to deepen the market. Speaking at the 2021 Capital Market Conference held in Abuja on Tuesday, Osibanjo expressed concern about the inability of fintech companies and startups to access funds from the capital market. He stated, however, that sustainability of Nigeria's fintech ecosystem required existing and emerging financial services startups to have access to the capital market. Nigerian fintechs are approaching investors and are getting funded, especially from venture capitalists in countries such as the United States, the United Kingdom, Switzerland, and Belgium. From these offshore destinations, these fintechs have raised some $876.5 million in the last 6 years. According to him, attracting fintech unicorns to the market as a viable option for capital raising would give more investors the opportunity to benefit from the growth of these companies and create wealth for the economy. He stated that Nigeria needs to develop robust venture capital and private equity funds to support small businesses that have significant growth potentials. Thank you for watching Business News. My name is Blyden.
Many thanks, Blyden. Now, still to come in the news. Former British #1 Johanna Konta retires from tennis after battle with knee injury. Do stay with us.
At Nongdui Besikpo Asutan with the great and vibrant young people of the community, celebrating with SpectrumTV for being the first private television station in the Aqua Cross region. So this is what they had to say for all of us at SpectrumTelevision. You say, congratulations, Spectrum!
My name is Ike Brownson, an indigenous of Akwa Ibom State. It's a wonderful thing that this kind of a thing is coming down to Akwa Ibom, SpectrumTelevision. I mean, it's a big development in the entertainment industry and in the information industry. So I want to shout a big prop to SpectrumTelevision and give them a welcome applause in Akwa Ibom State. SpectrumTelevision.
I'm Mr. Edimo by name from Akwa Ibomite. So I see this TV station, SpectrumTelevision, coming to Akwa Ibom. I'm happy. At least it's one of the things that we need here in Akwa Ibom. I'm very happy, and I pray to him that he should come and stay and come and stand. The station should come and stand well, so that more things and more education will come out, and employment for youth will also come out. I congratulate the MD and the workers and everybody.
My young man, Gideon Sam. So I'm from here, Nongodo, Ibesikbom. Television channel station I maybe need me. I found it my young man in the because I act better song. Some of person like me, you move and me see dog stage. Me see dog studio you see quiet nam talk show me way young Emma. So in the station I act better me and the find it young my name nam within the station AD. Congratulations to SpectrumTelevision.
My name is Peter Nkero. I'm so happy with Tony Afia because he has been able to prove to Akwa Ibom people and others that without politics, a private man can still exist and show the way to others. He has been able to prove himself as being the first person, the pioneer person that brought a FM station to Akwa Ibom State, and rural in particular. I'm so happy about that. Now television is coming over. Kudos to him. I love him. I like him. I don't know how to express. I don't know how to talk. Tony Afia is #1.
Say, honey Isaiah Bennett, call undiluted honey. I am from Afiansero Branco in Siribam local government area. I want to congratulate the management and the staff of the SpectrumTV because they do a good thing. If we can still have like this many enough, then the price of maybe advertisement in our country or our states, will be reduced. I wish you all the best, and I pray to God to keep you and to make you a great one in the nearest future. Thank you so much. Welcome, Spectrum. Congratulations.
Welcome.
Congratulations. Congratulations. The new television Spectrum will like your style.
Ngele Victoria Nefia Biakon Odwan. It's the name to two. Nanga SpectrumTelevision edi Odwan Yeneme. So you can near Odwan Yeneme. It's the name to two. Abasena Mabawa. But say I know the one and my young brother the old one name. Can you about Jesus?
I think the Messi in Sebong John. Into OMICRON. So is the name yen. I mean the Kombanga, the SpectrumTelevision. Ado kwadi ke uranami. So you mean a Messi the tete. Bikidema mean a Messi uran as a whole. You mean a Messi the tete. Deep boy team poem in that. So you mean a Messi libeng abasibo ya abasiodion. Anye kebenne television ami adi ke kwaibom stere mi yekura na mi
anying me item dom do you appreciate go run SpectrumTelevision at the same time we you know ranani had a very great development in our local government as Uruan in general and Akwa Ibom State at large.
Many thanks for staying tuned. In health, the Director General of the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, GANDUJE, has highlighted ways the human immunodeficiency virus HIV can be stopped in Nigeria. During a televised interview, Aliyu said the first step was to eliminate the mother-to-child transmission to achieve a generation free of HIV. According to him, the more people living with HIV/AIDS are identified, the more the spread of the virus is being curbed. The Director General also identified commercial sex workers, transgender, and drug users to be at high risk of contracting the virus. On the COVID-19 update, 105 new cases have been confirmed in Nigeria in the last 24 hours. Putting the country's new total at 214,218, making up the fresh infections 43 cases in Lagos, 21 in Gombe, 16 in FCT, 10 in Niger, 6 in Rivers, 5 in Plateau, 2 in Edo, and 1 each in Bauchi and Kano. 207,218 persons have so far been discharged, while 2,977 others have died from the virus. Still in health, data from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control has stated that the number of people who died of cholera since the beginning of this year is twice as many as those killed by COVID-19, while the death toll from cholera has already been reported to exceed 3,600 about a month to the end of the year. The figure of those who died of COVID-19 complications since the outbreak of the pandemic in the country has yet to cross the 3,000 mark. Cholera, which is an acute diarrhea illness caused by infection of the intestine, is contracted when patients swallow food or water contaminated with cholera bacteria. And in sports, Bright James will bring us up to speed with the latest developments.
Thank you, Xavier. Good evening and welcome to the world of sport. We begin with tennis, where Joanna Konta, former British #1, has retired from tennis. The 30-year-old has struggled with a persistent knee problem over the past couple of years and slipped to 113 in the rankings. Konta made the announcement on social media with a post headed "Grateful." Conte's emergence at the top of the game began when she took the British #1 spot, which she went on to hold for almost 7 years. The following year, she reached her first Grand Slam semi-final at the Australian Open, subsequently climbing into the top 10. She retires as the best British female player of the last 30 years and someone universally praised for her professionalism and application. Her final match was a 3-set loss to Karolina Muchova at the Western and Southern Open in Cincinnati. Now to football, where Super Eagles star Joseph Aribo is the subject of intense transfer interest from a trio of Premier League clubs, according to multiple media reports. Premier League clubs Crystal Palace, Brentford and Watford are reportedly targeting the Rangers midfielder with a view to a January bid for the 25-year-old. Aribo is entering the final 18 months of his contract with the Scottish champions, and although Rangers will be loath to lose him, his contract situation makes him an attractive prospect for a number of clubs who believe they would be able to prize him away in either the January window or next summer. The Nigerian international joined Rangers in 2019 from Charlton Athletic, helping them end a decade-long title draw since they won the Scottish League title last season without losing a single game. He has made 116 appearances for Rangers, scoring 21 times and setting up 18 further goals. He has won 12 caps for the Super Eagles, scoring 2 goals, and should feature in next year's African Cup of Nations in Cameroon. Now, still staying with football news, it is official. KANO pillars have unveiled new technical advisor Salisu Yusuf at a ceremony at the KANO State Government House, attended by the state's Deputy Governor, Dr. Nasiru Yusuf, and several club officials. Yusuf replaces former boss Ibrahim Musa, who departed the 4-time league champions after his contract expired at the end of last season. The former Enyimba coach Yusuf led Enugu Rangers to a 7th place finish in the 2020-2021 NPFL season. He will combine his role in KANO pillars with his job as Super Eagles assistant manager, having been reinstated to the national team following a 1-year ban for accepting bribes from an undercover investigative journalist who posed as a player's agent in 2018. Pillars finished in 5th place last season, and having achieved a 2nd place finish in his first stint, Yusuf would hope to do one better and lead the club to their first league crown since 2014. And that's all from the Sports Desk this evening. I am Bright James. Over to Bito Brian for entertainment news.
Thanks, Bright James. Good evening and welcome to the world of entertainment. I am Bito Brian. First off, Adele's 30 becomes 2021's fastest selling album despite sales drop. Adele's 30 has shot to #1, overtaking ABBA to become the fastest selling album of the year so far. Its 261,000 first week chart sales means it sped past the Swedish pop group's comeback album Voyage, which opened with 204,000 sales. However, Adele's sales figures are significantly lower than those of her previous album 25, released in 2015. The album, her third, opened with 800,000 first week sales, which means 30 has sold 32% of its predecessors. Her closest competition in singles charts, Sharan, slipped to 3rd with Shiva, while Bad Habits spent its 22nd week in the top 10 at #5. This week's biggest chart jump comes courtesy of 17-year-old Nashville pop prodigy Gayle, whose track ABCDFU rises to 26th position to #14. From the world of filmmaking and movies, Spider-Man No Way Home has already broken an Avengers Endgame record. Spider-Man No Way Home's official Twitter account acknowledged this impressive feat on the social media site, tweeting, "NBD just broke the internet record and the 24-hour global record for the most watched and talked about movie trailer ever." Indeed, the first trailer for the upcoming installment in the Spider-Man franchise was released on Monday, August 23, after officially debuting at CinemaCon, and has gone on to become a huge hit with fans. So big, in fact, that the Deadline is reporting that it was viewed a whopping 355.5 million times in just 24 hours. Before that, the record was held by Marvel with the Avengers Infinity War trailer, which obtained 230 million views in the same time period back in November. On to our next story, where Apple has announced the winners of the 3rd annual Apple Music Award, which recognizes the best artists of 2021 and their influence on global culture. The award honors the achievements in music across 5 categories, with winners chosen through a process that reflects both Apple Music's editorial perspective and what customers around the world have been listening to the most. Apple has named The Weeknd as the Global Artist of the Year, while Olivia Rodrigo is the Breakthrough Artist of the Year. Rodrigo also bagged the Album of the Year award for her debut album, Saw, and a Single of the Year, Driver License. The Songwriter of the Year award went to multi-instrumentalist HER, especially in recognition of her 21-track R&B album, Back of My Mind. While Grammy Award-winning Nigerian singer Ayo Balogun, popularly known as Wizkid, has won the Artist of the Year from Africa region in the Apple Music Awards. This announcement was also made by Apple Music via its official website on Tuesday, as Wizkid emerged as one of the 5 artists to emerge Artist of the Year from various regions. This year, Apple Music also introduces a new category of awards for Original Artist of the Year, recognizing artists from 5 countries and regions: Africa, France, Germany, Japan, and Russia. The Original Artist of the Year Awards recognizes artists who have made greatest impacts culturally and on the charts in their respective countries and regions, according to Apple. From Nollywood, Nigerian veteran actress Ibinabo Fiberesima is set to make her much-anticipated return to the screens after some time away from lights, camera, and action. The former Actors Guild of Nigeria AGN president recently shared images from her latest project, which will we see her embody the role of Mary Slessor, the Scottish Presbyterian missionary who stopped the killing of twins and fought for the rights of women. The film, titled Passion of Mary Slessor, directed by Moses Escrow, would see Fiberesima star alongside the likes of Zach Orji, King Bassi, Shegun Arinze, Moses Armstrong, amongst others. And that's all we have for you from the entertainment desk this evening. Again, I am Beto Bryan. Over to Xavier Roberts.